Welcome. We are live. Welcome to Nerd Side Champs. I am Dan. That is Tim. And today we're celebrating Turkey Day. Last week we went all in on Christmas. We were going to throw out the Turkey Day, but our AI overlords told us no, no, no. Do not give up on the turkeys. You must talk about the Thanksgiving. So this week we're doing TV episodes. Thanksgiving TV episodes, because of course Thanksgiving, unlike Halloween, unlike Christmas, is not about movies. It's not about films. It's about television episodes, right, Tim?
And it's kind of funny because I think that there are a lot of reasons why some of these shows actually kind of repeat having Thanksgiving as a theme for why it's something that's so emphasized in these specific series. And I think that we'll get into that a little bit because I think it has to do with the characters. I think it has to do with the story. I think it has to do with something that's a little more overarching. Of course, Christmas is actually usually a big part of all these as well. But the reason that Thanksgiving is actually emphasized in these particular series is pretty interesting. So we'll get into that for sure.
Yeah. And the thing is, you don't get a lot of Thanksgiving films because Thanksgiving does not have a long runway. There's not the Thanksgiving season as it is. It can't begin until November the 1st because, October 31st is Halloween and Halloween's taking up all the oxygen. And Thanksgiving could be fairly early because it's set to be on a Thursday. And what's the earliest it could be? It's like the 20th or something. Sometimes I feel like, it could be fairly. And as soon as it's over, so you've got like 3.5 weeks tops is Thanksgiving season. And that's not enough to carry a film, but TV episodes come out every week. So you got a weekly medium. You got stuff coming out, and it's a good thing to tie people together. People do spend Thanksgiving watching television, usually football, but these episodes give the non-football fans something to watch, and the non-dog enthusiasts something to watch too.
Oh, I forgot about that. Mr. Dog Show. I forgot about that,
Yeah, the dog show, or every year, man, that comes on after the parade. And by then I'm watching the pregame for the football game.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm knee deep in pie by the time the dogs start trotting out. So
yeah. And I am old enough to remember, kids, when there were only 2 football games on Thanksgiving Day. The Cowboys played, the Lions played, and then it was done.
That was it. That was it. There really Thursday football was in its infancy back then, in the early mid 90s. Thursday football was like what's this Thursday football, So I'm not I remember when there weren't games on like every day. So yeah.
And I remember with Thanksgiving, there was the 1 o'clock game, there was the 4 o'clock game, there was no prime time game. You could pass out in the evening on a tryptophan coma and not worry about missing anything. That was how it was laid out. So speaking of big throwbacks, I have been rewatching like crazy. I want it to be somewhat exhaustive on the list. I wanted to remember what I was talking about. So a lot of you kids have probably seen this in memes and shorts and little clips, and I had to hunt it down because I am cheap and I'm willing to be sketchy. All right. So if you have $2.99, I'm going to tell you it's not a bad purchase on Apple TV, and you can get season 1, I think it is episode 7 of WKRP in Cincinnati. Now, Tim, have you ever? So I'm living on the air in Cincinnati. I watched the episode.
You can't live where we live and never have seen that show. I mean, everybody around here has seen that show at some point. It's legend around where we live. We live close to the Cincinnati area, Dan and I do, and so we are in driving proximity of Cincinnati. So yes, I am familiar with the show, even though it predates my my sitcom watching nostalgia just a little bit. But I am very familiar with the show. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think either of us is. I didn't check the dates. I don't think either of us is old enough to have watched and remembered this show on its first run, like when it was like
Yeah.
new. I think it aired from like 1977, maybe like 81, 82. It was late 70s into the very early 80s. It may have been airing when I was alive, but not when I was walking and talking. That's what I'm saying. So, but I
Yeah.
did, we have seen reruns. I don't know that I had ever seen this one before today. And it's called I can't remember, it's called the Turkey Drop or something like that. God, it's hilarious. It reminded me of an era gone by because kids, believe it or not, sitcoms used to just air on TV. And if you missed it, you missed it and you didn't get to see it. And there was no other way you were ever going to see it again. You know what I'm saying? So, so there was no soap opera interconnected plots for sitcoms. It was not serialized. You didn't have to watch the previous episode to understand. You didn't have to watch the next episode to get the payoff. Every single episode of a show was written and created as if it was the only episode you might ever see. It was especially created as if it's your first episode. We're going to have to introduce quickly who everybody is. They're going to have to fit an archetype so that you quickly gravitate towards them. We're going to tell you a story and wrap it up, and it's going to be over. And I'm familiar with WKRP in Cincinnati, but like it's been forever since I saw an episode. But you watch this, you have no problem following it. You could just dive right in. So $2.99, folks. And the premise of WKRP, and I didn't know this, but I knew it. This is episode 7 of the first season. The station has recently switched to rock and roll. It had a different format. I don't know if it was talk. I don't know what it was. The station manager feels left out because he's got new DJs. He's got a new like assistant manager or whatever right below him. He's left with nothing to do. Right. So he's walking around feeling useless. And he's like, I'm going to do a huge promotion for Thanksgiving. And he keeps pumping everybody. And he's like, he won't tell him the secret. He puts the sales guy in charge of finding 20 live turkeys. Okay. And it's totally worth watching. The last line of the episode is the one you've seen, folks. God is my witness. I thought turkeys could fly.
Yeah.
And, dude, the newscaster, he's like, he posts the newscaster outside of a store. He's like, you got to wait here for the action. And it's like the Hindenburg disaster as he's like, oh, the humanity. There's something coming. Yeah. It is. When you have time, folks, watch it. It's brilliant.
That's great. That's great.
And that brings something up as we talk about these Thanksgiving episodes. We said why shows have Thanksgiving episodes is because they come out every week. So most shows have an Thanksgiving episode or a bunch of Thanksgiving episodes. But what I'm trying to consider here, Tim, is like when you see a retrospective about like a show and they're showing you clips or like best of episodes of a show, not best Thanksgiving episodes, but just like best episodes of this show. When you think of that show, do you think of the Thanksgiving episode? Like, is that one of the top episodes of the show, period? And I think WKRP is a good example. People outside of this area probably don't remember the show at all, but that God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly, that still gets play and people see that. So if you remember anything about WKRP, you remember the Thanksgiving episode. So I think that puts it way up on the hierarchy. Like, a lot of shows have Thanksgiving episode, but it's just another episode. This makes it. Yeah. So what's an example? What do you have first? What's an episode you would like to throw out there to begin with?
Well, and one of the things that I would like to throw out there, just as kind of an example of exactly why we say why Thanksgiving episodes. Why did and I think you're right, Dan. You hit this on the head. A lot of these sitcoms would come out every week, And if it happened to be the week of Thanksgiving, it naturally would be something where you've got a Thanksgiving episode. But there's a lot of shows that still didn't do that. Seinfeld brushed on Thanksgiving. I think they had that episode where they were at Tim Watley's party watching the balloons get blown up, but there was never an actual Thanksgiving episode where they sat down at Thanksgiving dinner and all that. There was never really a Thanksgiving episode. And so I think that the reason that some of these shows it's more tangential is just because of the story, right? Like, one that I think of really deeply is Frasier. And the reason that I think of Frasier, you know who makes a guest appearance on at least 2 of the Thanksgiving episodes is BB Newworth as Lilith. All right. And you think to yourself, why would that make sense? Well, when you're doing shared parenting, when do you cross paths with the other parent? At the holidays. Okay.
Yes.
And if it's not Christmas, it's Thanksgiving. And that's what you see. You see a lot of references to Freddie having to visit for Christmas or Freddie having to visit for Thanksgiving. And 2 of the episodes have to do with Lilith. And I always thought that was very interesting, that it's part of the greater story that Thanksgiving is worked into because BB Newworth only made maybe 1 appearance per season. She didn't make a lot of appearances in Frasier. And so I thought that was, she lived in Boston, he lived in Seattle. And so to have them cross paths twice, the first episode that I thought of is the one where they have to go to Boston. And the reason that they had to go to Boston is because they, as parents, had to go interview for Freddie to get into prep school. And they had to do it on Thanksgiving. Yeah. And it turned out naturally being a huge disaster. And, that was really funny. I remember that one. It's one that I watch about every Thanksgiving because it is a funny episode. So that's one that I enjoy. There's another one later on where Lilith comes in and she was in Seattle dropping Freddie off and got delayed and had to stay for Thanksgiving. And then that turned into a big thing because nobody wanted her there. And Freddie tries to get them back together and all that kind of stuff. So the dynamic there is something that I thought was very interesting, just because, once again, we're talking about shared parenting. We're talking about divorce. We're talking about a lot of things that a lot of people didn't want to think of in the early to mid 90s, but were real world things happening. And Thanksgiving is one of those things that could relate to a lot of people, having to drop the kid off, having to maybe spend time as 2 shared parents on the holidays just to help your kid. You know what I mean? And so, so that's just something that so those 2 episodes in particular are ones that really I think are great. And Frasier in general is just a great show. I'm not usually a huge fan of spin-off series, but this is probably one of the few exceptions that I think I actually enjoyed as much, if not more, than Cheers, just because it's such a different direction. And the characters were so different from the original series and everything. So I'm very much high on both of those Thanksgiving episodes from Frasier. I can't think if there was another one or not, but those 2 in particular, I watch them every year.
Now, Tim, when you bring up Dr. Frasier Crane and Thanksgiving Day, it's not necessarily the show Frasier that I think about. I'm thinking about Thanksgiving Orphans and Cheers. And it was, I think it's season 4 or 5. And Carla's kids are out of state with the dad. Norm, of course, hates his wife, and Vera, which we never do get to see.
No.
Cliff's mom.
She makes her appearance in Thanksgiving. Vera shows up at Thanksgiving. It's the only time we see her. And she shows up at Thanksgiving. It's the only time we saw her. And anyway, continue, Dan.
Lovely friends, Norm. Get your coat. And so, I watched that today. Shelley Long thinks she's going to the hoity-toity party. of her professor to be a guest, to be discovered by the literary
She dresses
world.
like a pilgrim. She dresses
Yes.
like a pilgrim, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
She arrives just to find out she's there to be the domestic help. She's there to serve food. So she runs to Carla's. So basically the whole gang from the bar is at Carla's house for Thanksgiving. Norm brings the turkey, which is raw. He shows up about time to eat. He says traffic was heavy. He's got a raw turkey because he's making the stuffing of the turkey. And so we're all sitting at the table waiting. And then the turkey should be done any minute, slowly losing their patience until, of course, the scene you've all seen, the food fight erupts. And I'm telling you,
Right there.
There it is. When Shelley Long stands up and goes, wait a minute.
Yeah.
When Diane tells everybody to stop. And I don't know if you
just know what's coming at that point.
Yeah,
you just know what's coming at that point, right? I mean,
everybody hates Diane.
It's one of the most classic Thanksgiving episodes of all time, and kind of instituted in my mind before it was a thing. The idea of this whole Friendsgiving type thing, right? This idea where Thanksgiving doesn't have to be just a family event. You can have all your friends together, gather around, have a meal, enjoy time together. You know, it really was one of those first episodes that I can think of that was like that. We're going to talk about a few more of them down the road here. But this is one of those that I think of as kind of bucking the trend. It's not just about family at Thanksgiving. It's about who you're close with. And on Cheers, they were all close with each other as friends. And that's where Thanksgiving was for them. And once again, by the time things just hit that boiling point for the food fight, it is one of the most classic moments in my mind. You can just tell that there was no script for that whole scene. There was no script. It was just, after this, it just do whatever, you know what I mean? And it was, but I mean, it's one of the funniest scenes I think in the history of Thanksgiving TV episodes. So,
it's classic, and it sets so many tropes in motion. It's the only Thanksgiving episode that Cheers ever did, to my knowledge. I've seen Cheers all the way through at least.
I don't think they did anymore.
I don't remember another one. But when you knock it that far, but again, if you see somebody talk about Cheers and they do like a 10-minute blurb of the history of Cheers or talk about what a great show Cheers was, there will be a clip of that food fight in that retrospective of the show. I don't care if it's a 2-minute, 3-minute, if it's a 30-second spot about, hey, Cheers is great. You're going to get that food fight. It is like right up there. It's emblematic of what the show is. And it set the trope of the Friendsgiving of, like, these people, these co-workers or buddies or whatever the situation of your sitcom, your situation comedy is. These people will gather for Thanksgiving as well, as opposed to just going off to their respective families. Also in that episode, I don't know if other shows had done this at the time, but they took the time to explain it. So I feel like it might have been a relatively new and novel concept at the time. Diane stands up and says, my family, in lieu of saying grace every year, we would go around the table and say what we were thankful for. So, like, how many episodes have the scene where people go around and say what they were thankful for? Now, they don't actually do it in Cheers. Diane's the only one who does it, and they all mock her horrendously for it. But I feel like maybe the trope had a beginning here, so it just establishes so many things.
Yeah, for sure. And I had just so many things. And this cast, I don't think at the time they knew what they had, even as successful as Cheers was at this point. I don't think they really knew what they had as far as, what the legacy would be. What are we, 40 years later? 50 years later, and we're still looking at this show, and in particular this episode, as something that was just kind of a standard bearer. I feel like that really speaks to what we had on the cast. I mean, George Wendt, Ted Danson, Shelley Long, John Ratzenberger, Kelsey Grammer. I mean, it's Woody Harrelson. Everybody was just the perfect storm. They worked off each other perfectly. It was an amazing lightning in a bottle experience with them. And this episode is like the perfect encapsulation of it. If you want to know, the best sitcoms don't just have a talented cast. They have a cast that actually likes each other and gets along. Like that's how it was with Seinfeld. That's how it was with Friends. That one of my favorite sitcoms that I love was News Radio. And the reason that it didn't last is because the cast didn't get along. Right. And so they could never really do episodes like this and have this kind of actual chemistry because they didn't even really like each other. And so these guys, you can just tell, especially in that food fight scene, they're just playing. They're just having fun. These guys are having a blast. They're having the time of their lives. And there's something genuine about that makes a show like this just kind of ring through, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. To this day, and I don't know that Cheers was the first show to do it, but whenever a sitcom, whenever the hook for a sitcom is the whole will they or won't they relationship, we call it the Sam and Diane. They're called the Sam and Diane. They're not called the Ross and Rachel. They're not called the Jim and Pam. They're called the Sam and Diane, and that's for a reason because that show was just that good, So
for sure.
But we did say, as I throw those names out there, we said the term Friendsgiving a number of times talking about Cheers. So I think we got to dive head first into the elephant, into the TV Thanksgiving room.
That's right.
And I looked this up today, guys. 10 seasons, right? 10 seasons for Friends. How many Thanksgiving episodes? 10.
10.
Every season has a Thanksgiving episode. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I have seen them, right? Because I watched Friends when it was airing, I did not rewatch all 10 in preparation for this. I did rewatch 2 of 10.
You'll notice my my tagline here, Dan. These are my Thanksgiving pants. Okay. So I got, and very, very famously, Joey shows up wearing Monica's maternity pants. And she says, are those my maternity pants? He goes, nope, they're my Thanksgiving pants. So absolutely. So just classic. I mean, I think everyone thinks of the episode where Monica puts the turkey on her head. Everybody thinks about that episode. And you can't, I mean, my sister bought the little hats, they sell the little stuffed turkey hats that have the hat and the glasses and everything. And so, I mean, it's such an icon, right? It's such an icon. And you just know that she was dying inside that actual turkey while this whole thing was going on, trying to get this to work.
Trying to breathe.
I mean, it's a really, really funny episode, man. I mean, and just to have it kind of come to that point, between her and Chandler, it was just it's a great moment. And I just, I really do enjoy Friends. I'm like you, Dan. Don't ask me to remember each Thanksgiving detail of each episode. I have not seen these in a minute, but I can tell you that each and every one of them, they are very good Thanksgiving episodes. Great series. And this is, once again, why do they do these Thanksgiving episodes? Because I feel like the characters in Friends, Thanksgiving was almost more important to them than the Christmas season, right? It almost was more important to them than anything else, because that is the day when they all got together. It's very reminiscent of what we're going to see from How I Met Your Mother down the road, when they did the same thing. Friends that get together that don't have kids, this is probably their holiday, and that's how it is in real life. And so that being portrayed, we look at all these series and why they do it. With Frasier, it was shared parenting. With Friends, it's because this is probably the holiday that a lot of unmarried adults, when they get together with friends, this is probably the holiday that they focus on, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's It's 20 somethings live in the city. And even though in the premise of Friends, the Gellers, a lot of them are from New York. Their families
Mhm.
aren't far away because the Gellers are in the show a lot. Rachel, I think, is like semi estranged from her family. You never see the Green family really. And but Chandler's parents don't live nearby. Joey's family is I think they're in Jersey, or I can't remember, but like again, people who actually live in New York, young people, their family, like a lot of those people moved to New York from other states. They're not from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So the fact that a group of 20 something friends who live in New York would celebrate Thanksgiving together is like a natural thing because they can't get home to their families. Their families don't live nearby. And it was so popular and so great that Friendsgiving is now like a huge thing. People who have Thanksgiving with their family have Friendsgiving the next week, the day before. My daughter has a Friendsgiving. She's in her early 20s. She has Thanksgiving with me and my parents and her mom, with the family, but then she has a Friendsgiving with her friends every year, and she's done it since she was like 18. She would have people over to our house and cook another turkey. So, and it's all, I think that's kind of started with that show. We have a comment in here. Hope says, how are y'all doing tonight? I'm loving the special lives you are doing with the themed movies episodes. My favorite Thanksgiving episode would be the Gilmore Girls. She will have to give us a synopsis.
Full stop, Hope. I have seen maybe 3 episodes of the Gilmore Girls. Okay. I remember when what's her face, the main Gilmore girl, was trying to decide which of the 2 boys that she liked the best or something. I don't remember, but that's really my extent of my Gilmore Girls watching experience when I accidentally watched it when I was in college one time. But I don't remember anything else about it. So I do not remember the Thanksgiving episode, but Gilmore Girls, great show though, right? I mean, the cast was great. You had Melissa McCarthy, you had Lauren Graham, and so you had a very good, solid cast. A lot of them went on to do bigger things, obviously. So yeah, I mean, I could see a great situation for a Thanksgiving episode there. I imagine it probably had to do with Lauren Graham's character's family, I imagine, because she had like a wealthy family or something, if I remember correctly. But anyway, I believe there's
a revival. I believe there's a revival coming.
Is there a revival coming? Okay,
yeah,
see, I was unaware.
I saw that. I think I saw that somewhere, and she was very good in Bad Santa. So that's all I know about Gilmore Girls. Never actually watched it.
She was actually very bad in Bad Santa, actually, if you want to get technical. But yeah, we're not going to get into that. So anyway,
maybe when we get more into the Christmas, we could do a Bad Santa.
Anyway. Yeah, bad Santa would be an interesting review. Anyway, but yeah, Gilmore Girls, we're gonna have to check it out. If there's a Thanksgiving episode, I will say, I always thought that Gilmore Girls, it was kind of funny how the 2 of them would play off each other with their very, very quick talking, one-lining humor. I always thought that was kind of funny. So, not my kind of show. I have not seen every episode, as I just said, but I could see myself enjoying a Thanksgiving episode for sure.
So I watched 2 Friends Thanksgiving episodes today. The first one I watched is the main one, the one with all the Thanksgivings is the one, and it's all around flashbacks. I couldn't remember. This is the one with Monica on the turkey on her head at the end, and we learned that the reason she puts this turkey on her head is years ago Joey got his head stuck in Monica's turkey because he was going to scare Chandler. So we get all the flashbacks. Phoebe gives you past life flashbacks.
Now, isn't this? I haven't seen it in a long time, Dan. Isn't this? She puts the turkey on her head. She has the glasses and does all the thing, and then Chandler says for the very first time, "I love you," and he says it. Yes. And then she kind of freaks out with the turkey on her head that he said it, right?
Yes.
Isn't that kind of so? This was kind of a spiraling. that this was kind of a spiraling thing that kind of started the chemistry between Chandler and Monica, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they were dating at the time, but he drops the "I love you," which is a big thing. He tries to take it back, and it was a big movement forward for the show. I think it's another reason it sticks people. Also, the funny image, but and it was a very good episode. And there was all the kinds of things that you can't even make fun of. As recent as Friends is, you get a flashback, you get Chandler and with his flock of seagulls hair, and then you get another flashback with Ross and Chandler in their Miami Vice outfits, and you get jokes you can't get today, like you get Monica in the fat suit.
Monica in the fat suit. I did remember Monica in the fat suit.
Yeah, you get jokes about Rachel's original nose and her nose job. Yeah, stuff like that. It's a fun episode. But I tell you, the second one that I watched, and it's the season after. No, it's the season before. I can't remember. Anyway, it's the one. I'm trying to remember what exactly is going on. Okay, the Gellers come over for Thanksgiving. I think it's the very next season. They do not know that Chandler and Monica are even dating, or that Chandler has moved in, because they caught Ross smoking pot in his bedroom way back when he was in college, and he told them that it had been Chandler smoking pot, and then he had dove out the window and ran away. And so, unbeknownst to Chandler, they have hated him since then, and Monica didn't know why. And Chandler has it is that episode is hilarious. Ross and Monica are some of the funniest. Like when they devolve into children, that is some of the funniest friends. And they get into this tattletale match with their parents at the end, where she's like, Ross smoked pot. He's like, Monica broke the swing, and then just that was brilliant. And that is also the one where Rachel is trying to make an English truffle.
Oh,
and
man.
The pages stick together, the cookbook, and it's half a truffle and half a shepherd's pie. She puts beef in it, and everybody's acting like they eat it. And Joey actually likes it. Custard good, beef good. I mean, I laughed harder. I gotta admit it. I laughed harder at that one. One I really did laugh harder, because just people trying to eat Rachel's truffle, the yelling and screaming. It was good, and I'm sure there's other ones. The one with Chandler in a box, that's a Thanksgiving episode. The one where Joey's eating the whole turkey by himself is also the one that has Brad Pitt in it.
That's right.
Brad Pitt is Ross's old friend from high school, and we found out that Ross and him had the I Hate Rachel Green Club, and they had told everybody in school that Rachel was a hermaphrodite. It's called the one with the rumor. So you got Brad Pitt, you got hermaphrodite jokes. I didn't watch that one today.
Unbeknownst, I mean, it's something you don't see a lot of today. Just the one-off celebrity cameos in a sitcom. That is not a thing that would happen today. You would not get anybody the status of Brad Pitt to come in and be just one episode on, like, The Neighborhood or something, right? He wouldn't do that now. And at the time, Brad Pitt was just as big as he is right now. I mean, he was it in Hollywood. And they got a lot of these people to come back. It wasn't just him, right? It was just probably every episode there was somebody, right? And it's so funny that they were able to get that many people to come in to the show. It really is.
The one I just watched, it was when Rachel's making that truffle, Joey and Ross are trying to leave and get out early because they have the roommate across the hall. I think it's Elle McPherson. I think
Elle McPherson.
And they want to go have dinner with her dancer friends. So and they have Bruce Willis on that show, Tom Selleck. They had so many huge stars did episodes, and that's because back in the day, a huge hit sitcom was water cooler talk. It was appointment television. People all over the country watched it at the same time and talked about it the next day, as opposed to now, like you get even a new sitcom only gets 10 episodes. You know, even ones that air on TV, you get a season of 10 episodes. They'll either premiere it on the network and then throw it to their streaming service, or the other way around. It's on the streaming service first, then a few months later, it's on the network, and it's no big deal. It's only 10 episodes, and you might get another season in 3 years. You know, so
sure.
The whole thing kind of falls apart. So yeah, Friends definitely takes up a lot of the Thanksgiving space. But they did it right, and they did it well. And since we're talking about young people, there's Friends is that group of friends that hangs out at the coffee shop and, you know, young professionals and whatever. We got this other group of friends that had a show in the city, and they hang out in a bar. Yeah. A little bit more by speed, actually. And,
that's your difference between network TV in 1995 and 2005, right there. So the difference is we graduate from coffee bar to bar. So so absolutely.
Yeah, and of course I'm talking about How I Met Your Mother. and
Dan,
we've got to talk about what's that?
We got to talk about it. We got to. It's one of the most classic Thanksgiving series of all time. And
oh yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we speak of Slapsgiving. Okay, we've got to talk about Slapsgiving. So
you just got slapped, and everybody saw it.
Yeah, I think the first episode, the first Slapsgiving episode, is just an absolute classic. I love it. It's one of those that, for those of you who don't know, in season, was it 1 or 2, Dan, where they did the slap bet? There was an episode where what was it? Season 1 or
2.
Season 2? Was it 2? I think it was 2. And so in season 2, Barney and Marshall make a slap bet because Marshall doesn't have any money. And it has to do, the bet has to do with Robin, and that's how we find out that Robin was a pop star in Canada, and let's go to the mall, you know. Anyway, but long story short, Barney ended up lying so that he could win the bet. Okay, so he slapped Marshall. So the bet ended up being that the punishment ended up being that Marshall gets 5 slaps through eternity. Okay. So he can do any slap at any time, and Marshall is choosing to do those slaps. He did one of them right there on the first episode. He gets 4 more slaps and he's deciding to use them on Thanksgiving. So the first one is he starts just kind of introducing the idea we're all going to get together and give slaps, you know, and then he's like, and Barney's like, what'd you say? We're going to give thanks, you know, and all this, and then you know, and then he's going to introduce the idea it's going to be Slapsgiving, and then it gets to the point where it is ruining things so much that Lily has to say, this is when she has the breakdown, say there will be no slaps on Thanksgiving. And so it's a great episode. The series of the Slapsgivings, how many are there, Dan? 3 or 4? There's 3.
There's 3. Slapsgiving 1, 2, and 3. I watched all 3 day before yesterday, and they are awesome. They're all that first one. Marshall has a countdown.
For lack of a better term, Dan, they slap. Okay. They slap.
They do slap.
So
because Marshall has a countdown going that he told Barney, go to, you know, slapcountdown.com, and he's got it counting down. And then he announces it like the day before Thanksgiving. Yeah, you're getting slapped tomorrow. And like Barney's like, no, it's not going to be on Thanksgiving. And it's like, we established this. Ted asked Barney, how many days are there in October, Barney? And he's like, 30. He's like, we established this last year. There's 31. So then he knows it's going to be Thanksgiving. And Lily tells him Marshall can't do it, and Barney is mocking him as the countdown goes. You're counting to nothing, and Billy keeps telling Barney, put it away, and he can't stop. And then she's like, "You can slap him."
Bam! Yeah, it's great. It's great.
And then he's like, "Just to honor this moment, I've composed a song," and that's when we all get the wonderful "You just got slapped."
You just got slapped.
And everybody pointed and laughed, and it was awesome.
Now, is that hold on? Remind, is this the same one where where Robin had like the really old guy that she was dating, or is that okay? That is the same one. That's what I thought. I was just like, so and like every time he shows up, they brought like an actual like really old guy. It's like, this is what we actually would see when he would walk in.
Yeah, that was Ted. It's like, when your ex dates somebody, you see it like this. He's like, he probably looked like this.
Yeah.
And Ted's like, she's dating Orville Redenbacher, and the rest of the gang's like, what are you talking about, Ted? And I'm gonna make you feel real bad, Tim, because I just watched it. Guess how old that boyfriend is, Tim?
Oh, he was supposed to be like 45, right? Or something.
No,
yeah, or
41. 41.
Oh, man. We're older than the old boyfriend. Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Yes, we are older than the old boyfriend.
Well, it's okay. We're both married with children, folks. So we don't need to impress anybody. It's okay. We can be the old
You know what? We should go back. Married with Children. Does it have a Thanksgiving? I don't think
I'm positive it does, probably, right? It probably does.
But anyway, so 2, Revenge of the Slap, I think it's called. I think it may be the introduction of Chris Elliott as Lily's dad.
Oh, as Lily's dad. Yes. That's a great episode. I brought diseases. I forgot about that one. I forgot. Here's the thing. There is nobody who does awkward like Chris Elliott. There is nobody out there. And I going back to all the things that I've seen him in, when he was on Raymond, he did a lot of the same kind of awkward stuff. On King of Queens, he would do it. He was like the bug guy on King of Queens, and he had an episode on King of Queens where like he signed Doug up as his organ donor, and it just nobody does awkward like Chris Elliott. Scary Movie 2 when he's got the weird hand and everything. I mean, everything the guy does is just comedy gold. And it's like, can you just make this as awkward as possible? And he dials it up to 11 every time. I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I always remember Groundhog Day, where he's
Groundhog Day. Yeah, when he's the cameraman on Groundhog Day, and he and Bill Murray played off each other great in that movie. I loved it. So there's nobody that does awkward like Chris Elliott. And in this series, I'm telling you, when he's introduced as Lily's dad, oh my goodness, it's so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah. He's a game designer, and like Marshall, like Lily opens the door, and he's like, I bought diseases. I brought diseases. That's the name of his new game.
The game that he.
Yeah. And then, they leave him sitting out on the hall because, of course, he's dead to Lily. And Marshall's like, I'm working on this. And he's like, okay, well, I'm losing the battle to hemorrhoids out here. And he's like, oh, is that part of the game? He's like, I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
But the slap part is also great because this is the one where Marshall gifts the slap to Tim. I mean, to Ted and Ted and Robin. He gives Ted and Robin the slap because they find his turkey. Because remember, he's got the perfect turkey that he leaves in a cab. And they go to the Port Authority and find his perfect turkey. And he's like, you know what? As a Thanksgiving gift to show you how great you guys are, I'm gifting you a slap. So it's great. And Slapsgiving 3 was like towards the end of the series. And Marshall tells this whole backstory of how he has learned the slap of 1,000 suns. Or no, it goes from the 1,000 to the slap of a million suns. You know, a million exploding suns, the slap of 1,000 exploding suns. And within the same story, he changes it to a million. And Barney's like, he just said 1,000. And then everyone's like, no, he said a million. It was just a million. Where he has to learn, what was it? Speed, strength, and accuracy to deliver the slap of a million exploding suns. And it is so ridiculous. You know, I traveled to Shanghai for a year, and Barney's like, he was not in Shanghai for a year. And everybody's like, no, he was in Shanghai for a year. And then at the end, like Marshall comes out, the episode's over, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, Boyz II Men. Boyz II Men come out and sing "You Just Got Slapped."
You just got slapped. Yeah. Just great, man.
So, folks, if you got a friend like Barney, maybe you can institute Slapsgiving at your own Thanksgiving celebration.
For sure. Great classic episodes. And once again, same kind of concept. A lot of single people in the city getting together. A lot of them not from the city. You know, Robin's from Canada, Marshall's from Minnesota. You know, they're not necessarily from the city. They just happen to be friends. They all get together kind of for a Friendsgiving type thing. And that's kind of why they do it. And I think that's why Thanksgiving is something that's really, really shown, not just in Friends, but in How I Met Your Mother. It's something that makes a lot of sense. So, yeah.
Yeah, and Ted's from the lovely city of Cleveland, right here in beautiful Ohio.
Right here in beautiful Ohio.
Yeah. So that's a great one. I know Tim has not watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I did rewatch 2 Brooklyn Nine-Nine Thanksgivings today. The season 1 Thanksgiving, which is rated like on the list, the season 1 when people say it's best. Amy is trying to have Thanksgiving at her house. Holt and Jake leave to solve a case. Of course, Amy is doing the whole thing to kiss up to Holt, so that puts a wrench. Amy makes awful food that nobody can eat. So that goes awry. Terry hasn't eaten all day, and Terry's freaking out because he has to eat like 20,000 calories a day to maintain that muscle mass and stuff like that. So he hasn't eaten. And he goes to eat some potatoes. He's like, what is in that? And he's like, well, I ran out of salt, so I put in baking soda. And Terry's like, oh yeah, of course those are interchangeable. They're white powders. And he was like, well, yeah. So that one was good. But the next one I watched was called Mr. Santiago. I think it was from season 5. It's where Jake meets Amy's dad. And it's hilarious. The Jake plot is good. The Amy is plot too. But the two things, Boyle shows up with a live turkey that he is going to slaughter to make Thanksgiving dinner. And Boyle is the ultimate odd, weird, awkward best friend.
Oh, yeah.
That is hilarious. Yeah. And then also featured in this episode, who whenever you get him, it's a special treat, is Pimento. You get Agent Pimento is in there, and he ends up hanging out with Holt, and they go betting on the dog show. And the two of them betting on the dog show, and it's hilarious. It's really a great episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know, because when you're looking at these lists, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it was good, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine has more Thanksgiving episodes than that. It's got like 5. But I don't know that the Thanksgiving of Brooklyn Nine-Nine is quite like Thanksgiving for Friends or Thanksgiving for How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Cheers. Those episodes are just like
so iconic.
Ingrained.
Yeah.
Yeah, iconic for the show. You know, that like that's what this, you know, those are like the high, some of the highlights, the highest highs of the show. So, you know, that's a special spot. And so those, I think that's everything I rewatched to try to be up to speed. And they were all very good. Yes.
So I also there's just a couple that I'd like to throw in there real quick. There are 2 episodes. Now this, Dan and I are going to get into it a little bit here, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Because Dan does not appreciate the comedy stylings of one Mr. Kevin James. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell him that he is missing out because King of Queens is a fantastic sitcom. Now, look, Dan, you and I both know, because we are part of this group, that the overworked, fat, white, sarcastic man is the forgotten minority in this country. Okay, we have a champion amongst us, Dan. Okay, we have a champion amongst us, and his name is Doug Heffernan. Okay, his name is Doug Heffernan. No. He wears brown shorts and he delivers packages. Okay, so I do believe that it is a great sitcom. It's definitely something that took on a couple of different issues that I think other sitcoms weren't willing to take on at the time. You know, one of the things that it takes on, and this is something that kind of is going to bleed into one of the Thanksgiving episodes, is it takes on the idea of you have friends that have marriage problems. Okay, one of Doug and Carrie's best friends are Deacon and Kelly, and they, throughout the entire run of the show, have had marriage problems. Okay, so one of the Thanksgiving episodes, and one that I really enjoy, is when Deacon and Kelly have separated, and Deacon still wants to have Thanksgiving dinner for his kids, and he starts crying about it. He says, "I'm not even going to be able to do Thanksgiving dinner for my kids." And then Carrie offers and says, "Deacon, I'll make you and the kids a Thanksgiving dinner." And he says, "Oh, great, Carrie. That's awesome. Thank you so much." And then he tastes her cooking. Okay. Then he tastes her cooking, and he decides not to have her do it. And he has Spence, who is Doug's friend, come in and make the Thanksgiving dinner, or somebody else who maybe it was Holly. Anyway, he has somebody else come in and makes the Thanksgiving dinner, and it is just so funny because she explodes on him. She's like, "You told me, you cried and told me that your kids needed Thanksgiving dinner." So anyway, that's a great episode. And then there is one episode that just is hilarious. If you ever get a chance to see it, it's a Thanksgiving episode where they have all of them over to Doug and Carrie's house. There's a whole bunch of them. And there's a guy that knocks on the door because his car broke down, and it's a guy that's wearing an eye patch, and it's like they don't want him in the house, so they let him use the phone, but then they leave him on the porch, and he's out there in the cold and all this stuff, and he's just in the window watching them eat and stuff. It's the funniest, it's one of the funniest episodes for Thanksgiving that I've ever seen. It's great. And then at the very end, the guy did end up being a thief. It was really funny. So, if you get a chance to watch it, give that one a look. But Dan, I cannot believe that you do not appreciate our champion, Doug Heffernan, the package delivery man. I cannot believe that, Dan. Yep. I can't.
Kevin James is no champion of mine. Kevin, I'll get ACT. We get ACT on you. Kevin James is to Adam Sandler as Brutus the Barber Beefcake is to Hulk Hogan. And for those that aren't huge wrestling fans, what you need to know is the only reason Brutus the Barber Beefcake exists or ever had a deal with the WWF is he is Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan himself's old best friend. He's his friend from when they grew up as kids. It's the only reason he ever had a job or will ever get a job. The only reason Kevin James ever had any job is because Adam Sandler got it for him. And I think you pointed it out in your description. I was going to say this before but your description of that episode pointed out the miracle of Kevin James having a career. He is the fourth best person on his own show. The funniest person by like a country mile on the King of Queens by like any
Arthur Spooner
is Jerry Stiller. Jerry Stiller is by far.
Here's the thing. That's not even a fair comparison though, because Jerry Stiller is always the funniest person on whatever screen he's on. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is. He was on screen with Michael Richards, with Jerry Seinfeld, with Jason Alexander, and he was the funniest person on screen. Okay. So It's not really a fair comparison. All right. Jerry Stiller is always the funniest person on the screen. Always.
Right. Okay. So Jerry Stiller is the number one in the King of Queens.
No doubt about it.
Leah Remini,
no doubt about it.
Leia Remini is more funny than Kevin James. She is funnier than him, and I'm going to posit right now that Deacon, the tall black guy, that guy is better than Kevin James. That guy's funnier than Kevin. That's what I'm going to tell you right now. So he's number 4. You got Jerry, you got Leia, you got Deacon. Leia at least has that interesting, Scientology documentary.
That was at the time. At the time, she was a Scientologist, and so
yes,
it's kind of funny looking back in retrospect, But yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. So no. Kevin James is. And I have seen King of Queens. I don't know if I've seen these episodes. I would describe it as aggressively mid before mid was a thing that you could define mid.
I think the thing about these particular episodes, Dan, and this is something that you kind of touched on earlier, I don't think of these particular episodes when I think of the series. So I don't think that they are as iconic a Thanksgiving episode as some of them that we've mentioned. Slapsgiving, Friends, Cheers. These are very iconic Thanksgiving episodes. Things like Frasier and things like King of Queens, the Thanksgiving episodes were good, but it's kind of like you talked about in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's like, I don't necessarily think of those episodes when I think of the series. And I think that that's what's going to be different about it than some of these other Thanksgiving episodes. So good episodes. They are Thanksgiving centered. And I do think that everybody can find holiday enjoyment in them. However, it's not the encapsulation of the series like you see right here in Cheers. Like this right here is Cheers. The dynamic that you see here between all these characters, you can't get that. You can't get that almost anywhere else in the series. And so I think that this is a little different than maybe what King of Queens, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Frasier. Those are good holiday episodes, but I don't think you get this kind of a feel for that. So, so anyway,
the way Thanksgiving was central to Friends, right? Brooklyn Nine-Nine is more of a Halloween series because they have, I think almost every season has the Halloween heist where they all compete to win this heist and be the most amazing person / genius. Okay, that's the award if you win the heist. So that's a pivotal, like the way that Slapsgiving ties How I Met Your Mother together. The Halloween heist is like that for Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And different shows have different holidays. So like Roseanne I'm sure Roseanne had Thanksgiving episodes. It's a family sitcom. I'm sure they did one Thanksgiving, but Roseanne always had great Halloween episodes. They always had great costumes. They would have like a great Halloween party or a haunted house in their house or, something like that. So Halloween was really pivotal to Roseanne. How I Met Your Mother was actually like, because they had a really good ongoing Halloween thing going too, where
the hanging Chad and the slutty pumpkin. Remember that? Yeah,
the slutty pumpkin. Yeah, he was waiting for the slutty pumpkin. So yeah, How I Met Your Mother really stands out because it was able to like really get the corner on two holidays there. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think Frasier was very, very deeply ingrained in Christmas. Probably some of the best Christmas episodes from sitcoms, I think, are Frasier. There's one, and we'll probably do a show on it, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. But there's an episode where his girlfriend thinks that his family is Jewish, and they all have to act Jewish the whole time. It's one of the funniest episodes you'll ever see. It's called Merry Christmas, Mrs. Moskowitz. I watch it constantly around Christmas because it is just that funny. So it's one of the most hilarious. And I think Frasier, unlike Thanksgiving where they had 2 or 3 episodes, they had a Christmas episode every season. So it's something that they really tried to focus on. I feel like they really, really pushed the idea of Christmas being something that you can make interesting stories out of with all these quirky characters, and that's something that that they really focused on. So they did have Halloween and they did have Thanksgiving, but where they really, really buttered their bread was Christmas in that series.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And like Friends is associated as it is with Thanksgiving. I'm sure they did multiple Christmas episodes, but the only thing anybody remembers with Friends and Christmas is the holiday aardvark.
Yeah,
They got in 10 years they got one big Christmas moment
and
with the holiday aardvark.
Christmas Eve, right, is where Phoebe declares the 23rd is Christmas Eve, and then there was the whole dynamic. I would make the argument that Christmas belongs to Seinfeld, and we will get into that, but I think that Seinfeld has probably some of the best Christmas episodes. And yes, we're talking about the Festivus for the rest of us, and we'll just leave it.
Got a lot of problems with you people.
That's right.
It's time for the airing of grievances.
The airing of grievances, right? But yeah, it's a great look, man. It's a great season, and I feel like the time between now and Christmas, if you don't have it, if you just are sitting around and saying, what are we going to watch tonight? There are so many great Thanksgiving episodes in the queue, man. I mean, we've given you a good chunk of them to go back and watch, but there are so many others that we didn't even mention. I feel like between now and Christmas, you could literally watch a Thanksgiving or Christmas episode of one of these and just die laughing every night. So go back and go back to yesteryear and watch some 80s, 90s sitcoms and have yourself some laughs and enjoy some holiday cheer, because there's plenty there to be had. So yeah.
And it's so perfect from the holidays, because I got to say this, having rewatched like just today, I watched 2 episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, 2 episodes of Friends, and an episode of Cheers today. And then I've watched 3 episodes of How I Met Your Mother, and I watched the WKRP. When you watch these sitcoms that you watched every week when they were on, and that you were a fan of, and that were a part of your life, watching them again is like visiting an old friend. And it really is a holiday, because it's like these are characters that you cared about. And I know it sounds silly, but it is like visiting old friends. You feel comfortable there. It's warm to see these characters again. It makes like a rewatch. You might, you know what? I'm starting at the beginning. I'm going to watch this series again. But it's nice, like, man, just the theme songs come on. Like, you throw on How I Met Your Mother, and you get the ba 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 ba, or you throw on Cheers, and you hear when everybody knows your name, and like you just want to like crawl up in that theme song and live there.
Well, and some of these people, Dan, I mean, these characters are really all a lot of these people were known for. Sure, you had the Jennifer Anistons, and you had some of these other characters that your Neil Patrick Harris that kind of went on to do bigger and better things after the show. Some of them did things before the show, but for the most part, you take a look at some of these characters, and this was their apex, right? This was their big character. David Hyde Pierce as Niles Crane, or Rhea Perlman as Carla, or you take a look at George Wendt. I mean, John Ratzenberger. These people didn't go on to do anything after this. I mean, anything of consequence after this. This is their apex. And when you get an opportunity to see people like that, and go, like you said, kind of go back, live in that nostalgic era where this was kind of this was their apex. This was their top thing. I think it's good to just go back and watch that and kind of enjoy a little holiday cheer with it. It's a really great thing to see artists actually at work. You know what I mean? Like to see people that were real actors acting and doing a great job bringing these characters to life for us once a week, because that's all we had back then. We didn't have streaming. We couldn't just go watch all these when we wanted to. We either had to wait for the reruns, or we had to watch it when it came on. And that's what that's what we're doing now. We have the opportunity that we didn't have back then, and it's a great opportunity to just go back and rewatch them whenever we want.
Yeah. And I mean, it takes you back to the time in your life where that was your favorite show. and the person that you watched it with, and like, you know, maybe you were a kid and you watched these with your family at home. It just, you know, it gives you that warm feeling that the holidays should give you. So yeah, you know, watch some of these, bust out your own favorites. You know, Hope, watch the Gilmore Girls. Think about, you know, whoever you watched Gilmore Girls with when it was on, and feel those warm holiday times, you know, and it's a good way to celebrate the holiday.
Definitely.
Did we have anything else, or did we pretty much cover the Thanksgiving
I think
TV?
we covered most of the Thanksgiving TV there. So yeah, I think we did a pretty good job there of encapsulating all the Thanksgiving special episodes, and I think that it's definitely something that people don't think about as much. I think we think about some Thanksgiving specials. I think we think about football. We think about maybe planes, trains, automobiles. But I think a lot of this. This is more what I would watch around Thanksgiving than any of that stuff, to be honest with you. So
yeah, so there you go, folks. If you got the time, we tell you, watch all the Slapsgivings. They're fantastic. You know, pick the top 2 or 3 Friends Thanksgiving episodes. Watch those. There's some other good ones in there. Try on WKRP if you want it. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. Next week, we're going to stick with Thanksgiving. We're going Thanksgiving thing. I think we're going deep dive. This is what the AI overloads told us. This was the schedule they gave us, you know. So next week is a deep dive into planes, trains, and automobiles. So just think about it till then. Yeah. Are you a Neil or a Dell? That kind of thing. Why aren't there more hot Thanksgiving movies? Is this the best Thanksgiving movie or just the best movie out there? You know what I'm saying? Is it Steve Martin's best work? Is it John Candy's best work? Is it John Hughes's best work? I don't know. We'll get into it. We'll chop it up next week. Until then, I am Dan Edison. We are the Nerd Champs. Wait, we have a comment.
Oh,
Let's see what we got here. Hope says, thank you so much for taking time to do these. Now, thank you for tuning in every week. Really, we appreciate it. We like the feedback, you know, and, you know, tell people. We'll come in. We'll have a lively discussion. We'll throw these things around. Next week, we will debate the relative qualities of planes, trains, and automobiles before we dive headlong into the Christmas season.
Yep.
And until then, Tim, OH.